Alright guys, so today's video, I'm actually going to be cleaning up some of these sheepshead that I caught earlier in another trip. Going to be showing you how I clean them, and then we're actually going to go into do a catch and cook as well. Don't know what I'm going to cook yet. We'll figure it out later in the video. Got to go to the store and buy a few things to fix up for supper, so we'll figure it all out as we go. So just check out how I clean these. First part I want to go over with though is the knives that I use. I'm not sponsored by this company at all. I just really love these knives. These are the Cuda brand knives that West Marine carries these, plus a few other stores. They're a German stainless steel, so they stay sharp for a really long time. It's a good hard steel. Takes a little bit to sharpen them whenever you do have to sharpen them, but it keeps an edge for a long time. Plus these handles are very ergonomic, very comfortable in my hand. I just love these knives, so just wanted to show you guys that. Alright, so this is going to be one of the smaller sheepshead that I caught, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a line right here to separate the meat from the head. Then I'm going to follow the fins along the top and around down and just fillet off the meat from the backbone. Alright, so like I said, we're going to create that line first to separate meat from the bone. Sorry if it shakes on the table a little bit. But you want a good sharp knife for these because these fish have some very big bones, some very big rib bones that you have to get through. So just going to go follow along the top. You'll just feel the knife running against the bones. Instead of trying to cut through the rib bones so much, so I try to follow them up where I don't hit the guts or anything and go around that rib cage. Alright, that's one side off. It's a nice white meat. This will cook up nice, white, flaky, and mild. Just try to get a grip under those gills right there, trying to cut myself on the gill plate. So since I'm only right-handed, this is the tough part for me, is going to the other side of the fish. I actually have to come down from the bottom side and work my way up to try to get as much meat off as possible. Once again, trying to go around that rib cage. Messed that one up just a little bit. We still got plenty of other fish, so a little bit of loss of meat ain't gonna hurt too much. Alright, there's our other fillet. So then I have my flexible fillet knife here to skin off the fillet from the hide. And then there's always going to be a few little pin bones right through here. Just going to trim those out. And that's it. We got our nice fillet. Got a few more fish to do, but then we're going to cook these up and enjoy them tonight for dinner. Alright, now that we got the fish cleaned, it's time to start prepping up everything for dinner. Decided I'm going to make some fish and grits. I'm going to fry up the sheepshead and make some cheese grits and a little bit of a mixture to go on top of the cheese grits. So I've got all my ingredients here. This is going to be the best thing for cheese grits. It's a smoked Gouda with bacon. Makes the best cheese grits. Also added a little cheddar with it as well. So for that, I have some whole milk plus a little bit of chicken stock, some butter, salt, and pepper in the pot here. probably about 70% milk and 30% water or stock. Gonna go ahead and get that boiling to put the grits in, and while that's boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and chop everything up and get it ready to cook. Alright, so I've got all my mise en place done, and for anybody who doesn't know, that means everything in its place. A little background on me: I went to culinary school and was a chef for a little while, due to schedule with my then girlfriend, now wife. Had to kind of change careers a little bit, but still love to cook, so that's why I'm trying to share this with y'all. So like I said, I've got all my mise en place done, everything's ready to rock and roll as I need it. This here is Conecuh sausage, which for anybody outside of the Panhandle, South Alabama region, I don't know how far out it extends, but this is kind of a regional delicacy. Conecuh sausage comes from Conecuh, Alabama, just a couple hours north of here, and some of the best sausage you can find, but you can only find it in this region. So I'm going to use that in the sauce for the grits. I'm going to start out with it in a pan. I'm going to start this on kind of a medium heat. I'm going to kind of render some of the fat out of it to cook the rest of the vegetables and everything. And we're still waiting on the liquid to boil for the grits. As soon as it starts boiling, we'll pour in our grits and slowly start stirring them in until you feel it get a little thick on the bottom. I don't measure anything. I'm a don't cook. I do everything as I need it. These I get, they're stone ground grits. I like the little bit coarse texture. It gives a lot better finishing texture for the cheese grits. So I'm waiting on everything to heat up. I went ahead and cut up some of the sheepshead fillets into a little bit more manageable pieces for frying. Have some little pieces here for my daughter. She loves fish as well. Normally I make my own breading, but I had to buy some breading for a good amount of brim I fried up a while back, and so I bought this Zatarain's fish fry, and honestly it's probably one of the best ones I've come across. All you need to do is just dredge the fish in the fry seasoning, or in the fish fry, and that's it. You don't need any liquid or anything. Fries up very nice, and flavor on it's great. So I got that all ready to go in the fryer whenever I need it. Alright, so liquid's boiling now, so we're gonna go and dump in some grits, keep it from boiling over. So I'm gonna stir them in and just kind of get a feel for, and kind of feel a layer of it on the bottom, and that should be enough to thicken it up. We really want this coarse ground grits to hydrate really well. So you want a little bit more liquid than maybe like instant grits, because you want these to cook for a little bit longer. Get a nice little bubble going like that, and should have just the right amount in there. So now that it's back to boiling, I'm going to cut it down to about medium-low heat and let it simmer and cook for a little bit. Alright, so our pan's hot now as well for starting our mixture to go on top of our grits. Just a little bit of olive oil in there to help render out the fat in the sausage. Got to keep my grits stirred over here. On the grits where it helps hydrate it. Alright, so we've rendered some of the fat out of the sausage now and got a little brown on it. We're going to start adding in our vegetables. We're going to go ahead and add in, this is going to be Vidalia onion. I always like using Vidalia onion for the sweetness. The red and green bell pepper. Could be fresh chopped garlic. We love garlic up in this house, so I like using a large amount of it. So go ahead and give those a little hit of salt and pepper to help start breaking them down and soften them up. And I'm using an enamel cast iron pan, so it's really going to aid in getting some good color on these vegetables too. And all the flavor from the grease of the connected sausage is going to blend through all this and give it an amazing smoky sausage flavor. Alright, these veggies are cooking down very nicely. The smell is amazing. Always one of my favorite smells, smelling garlic, onions, and peppers cooking together, especially with sausage. Whoever finally invents a way to transfer that smell through video is going to make $1 billion or more, because you gotta be able to smell this to really get to understand how good it's going to taste. And so at this point they're cooked down a little bit. I'm going to add some of this to it. It's Paul Berdone's Black and Redfish Magic. Typically what I use to season all my fish with. I like Frank's Red Hot sauce. I put it on everything. Love this stuff. So we're just going to help give it a little bit of a Creole flavor using this blackening seasoning. Alright, so now that these vegetables have cooked down a little bit, we're going to add in our mushrooms. These are baby portobellos that I sliced up. I like them because they got a little bit meatier texture than just a regular white cap mushroom. Don't worry about, it looks like the pan's kind of getting crowded, but those mushrooms will cook down quite a bit. So we're getting some nice browning on the bottom of the pan, which is going to come in great here in just a minute. Give it just another little touch of salt to help those onions. I use kosher salt in all my cooking. Now that we let our mushrooms saute a little bit, we are going to deglaze the pan, which is taking wine. In this case, we're going to be using white wine. And this is actually going to remove all those brown bits off the bottom of the pan to release some extra flavor. The reaction of the wine hitting the hot pan and a little bit of acidity helps pull all that stuff off the pan and help create a sauce. So we're just going to dump some of that in here. And you can buy, places sell cooking wine. You don't want to get that because there's salt and other stuff added to it that can actually affect your end product. I just buy cheap little boxes of wine to keep on hand for purposes like this. So now we've deglazed it. Let it sit there and simmer, start scraping off some of those nice little bits on the bottom. You can see it start thickening up a little bit. We're going to let that wine cook almost all the way down, and then we're going to add in some chicken stock. Alright, now we're going to go in, pour in some of the chicken stock. So we're going to pour in a decent amount because we're actually going to reduce this down to help build the flavor in this dish. Also, while it's cooking down, we're going to add in a nice, probably about a tablespoon or a little bit more of, I'm gonna do a little bit extra, of tomato paste, and that's just gonna help bring out a nice little depth of flavor, a little sweetness, a little tang, and help really build this sauce up. Alright, so I've got the tomato paste mixed in now, and it's reducing down. I'm gonna go ahead and add in, got some fresh diced Roma tomatoes too. These are gonna be for a little bit of extra flavor and a little bit of texture. So always gotta have some fresh tomatoes in there too. And it wouldn't be a Cajun or Creole inspired dish without the addition of some Tabasco in there. It's like, we're not going to overdo it on the heat, but Tabasco has just such a great flavor that lends to recipes like this. So we'll try that for right now, then we'll come back and taste it, see if it might need a little bit more. Alright, so while we're waiting on our topping to reduce down over here, we're going to go ahead and get our cheese and our grits. So they've cooked long enough now, they're thicken up. Nice consistency to them. Like I said, for this I'm using a smoked Gouda with bacon, cheese, and then some shredded cheddar. And like I said, I just dump however much I feel I need in there. And I make super cheesy grits. Literally, it's probably about almost a 50% mixture of cheese and grits. It may sound like I'm stretching it a bit, but I use a lot of cheese in it. That in there. So I throw a little bit of shredded cheddar in there for a little bit of color and a little bit sharper flavor. So the Gouda takes a while to melt down. Really got to keep stirring it. Really got to keep stirring it in there to really get all the chunks melted down. So that's why I have to add it in so early. Alright, so our cheese is all melted down. You can see how creamy these grits look. The consistency is perfect. Super cheesy flavor, just the way I like them. Salt, all the seasoning's perfect on them, so these are just ready to go. And while I was finishing that up, the sauce is done now. It's thickened down. Actually letting it cool just a little bit, and then I'm gonna stir in just a little bit of butter to help give it a little bit more nice mouthfeel and a little bit of buttery flavor there at the end. Probably about a couple tablespoons of butter for this amount. And just slowly work that in to where it doesn't separate. Alright, so we got the butter stirred into it, so this sauce is all done. We're just going to sit here and let it warm up while we cook the fish, which is the last portion. I'm going to give this a quick taste, see if I need to add any seasoning to it. It's amazing. It's perfect. It doesn't need any more salt or anything. Salt levels are fine. It's acidic. Depth of flavor is amazing. Got a garlicky flavor to it. The sausage is amazing. This is gonna go great with the grits. Alright, so now we're ready for the last step, which is to fry up the fish. Already got my fryer heated up to 350 degrees. Got the fish tossed up, and got a plate here with some paper towel for the fish to dry on once it comes out of the grease. So we're just gonna go ahead, take our pieces, just lay them in the oil and get them cooked. These are probably only going to need to go about 4 or 5 minutes at the most. These aren't huge, thick pieces, so we're just looking for them to get a nice golden brown color. They kind of start floating too, as well as they cook the moisture out. and you can kind of tell when they're done. Got these nice little strips for my daughter to eat. Alright, so the fish is frying up nicely. It's almost there. Probably about one more minute. Camera fogged up. Alright, so the fish is done now. I'm going to pull it out of the grease. Let it drain for just a second over the grease before we transfer it to the paper towel. And look at that beautiful color on it. Nice crisp outside. Still going to be a nice moist flaky inside. Can't wait to eat this. Alright, so now we're going to plate everything up. First we're going to go in the bowl. Definitely need a bowl for this because of all the sauce. Gonna go. So get our grits down there in the bottom. Then next we're gonna put some of our topping on it. And then finally, for the best part, just gonna put some of these pieces of the fried sheep's head on top. And it's as simple as that. Can't wait to tear into this. It's gonna be great. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the videos. Keep more great content coming. Thanks.